Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, by popular demand, I am going to be doing how to grade Pocket 3 footage inside DaVinci Resolve. Now, this is some footage that I shot in Portobello Market over the weekend, and I've already gone ahead and graded it, and I think it looks really cool. I think it's got a really nice sort of cinematic feel. Now, I used 24p and my shutter angle was a 50th of a second. I did use a ND filter. Yeah, I think, as you can see, really beautiful, smooth footage. Let's just full screen this so you can see it a little clearer. I love that shallow depth of field. It's when Minu comes into focus and the back of her hair comes into focus, it pushes everything else out of focus. So it really sort of isolates the subject, which I think is incredible for such a small camera. Anyway, we're here to talk about grading today in DaVinci Resolve. So if you've not used DaVinci Resolve yet and you have a Pocket 3, then I strongly suggest you get on board and start your editing journey with DaVinci. Now, it might look intimidating initially, but it's really not. And you can have their software for free. So on the Blackmagic website, we have two versions of DaVinci Resolve. We have the free version, which is very powerful. And then we have the DaVinci Resolve Studio version, which is insanely powerful. And once you get started with DaVinci, and you can start off very basic, and then you can do a real deep dive into the more complicated aspects of video editing and grading. And you can do that all inside DaVinci. It's literally a one-stop shop for the majority of things you're going to need for video editing. And then in the future, you can buy these edit boards. I actually have the speed editor, and it's really helped me power through some of my edits. And you can get all these different consoles and coloring boards for editing your footage. But yeah, that will come at a later date. And yeah, I think they go up to £21,000. So yeah, get good at editing and you can afford yourself one of these advanced consoles. Anyway, so let's jump over to DaVinci. I'm actually inside DaVinci Resolve, and this is DaVinci Resolve Studio I'm working in. Let me just pause that there, and I'm going to go Shift D, and that's going to take off the grade that I've put on. I'm going to continue playing full screen. So this footage is recorded in D-Log, and as I said, 24p D-Log, 50th of a second with a ND filter. So I think that ND filter is pulling off about 4 or 5 stops. So that's getting the light down to a more natural shutter angle. On my previous videos, I had shot at 60 frames a second. And the reason for doing that is I could then half the speed and slow it down to have a slow motion footage. But on this particular walk around, I thought I'll go for 24p because again, it lends itself more to sort of a cinematic type feel. So if I go Shift D, that's going to slam the look back over the top. So that's the footage, and that's the look we're going for today. So I'm going to tell you how to grade it now, finally. Oh, before I do that, please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and ring that bell if you'd like to be notified of future videos. If you need help starting up your walking tour channel, then just let me know in the comments below what you need help with, and I'll be really happy to get on board and offer my advice where possible. Hill Bookshop, that's where they film Notting Hill. Exciting. Let's pause that. Okay, so let's come out of that full screen and let's go into the color pane. So just very quickly going through DaVinci Resolve and the interface, at the bottom here we have the media pane. Just the first one. We have the cut page. We have the edit page, which I was working in, Fusion, and the color page. So going from the edit page to the color page, if I hit Shift D, takes the grade off, Shift D, back on. So yeah, over here we have our node tree. I've got 3 nodes, and it's really simple to grade this Pocket 3 footage. So let me just delete these nodes, like so. And I can show you how we get a really nice color grade. So let's find ourselves a frame to park up on. So let's go somewhere like this. We've got all the flowers, we've got the bright color of the yellow on that stool there. Now, the first thing we need to do is, being in the color pane down here, follow where my mouse is, I'm going to go Option S, and that's going to create a new node, okay? I'm going to go Option S again, and Option S once more. So I've got 3 nodes in total. On this middle node, we're going to apply the DJI Pocket 3 LUT. Now so on the DJI website, you have a free download of the conversion LUT. Now this is really handy, obviously, to then download and put into DaVinci Resolve, because that's going to convert your D-Log into a usable file. So once you've downloaded that, let's jump back over to DaVinci Resolve. You then download it and install it in the LUTs folder. And if you follow where my mouse is, come up to this top left, and you have your LUT pane. Now, I have my DJI Pocket 3 LUT folder here. But if you go to the LUT, the home of the LUTs at the top here, right-click and click on Reveal in Finder, it will take you to the Finder and exactly where those LUTs are located. So then you can go and create a folder, which I have done. I double-click on here. And wherever you download that LUT to, your Downloads folder, web, just drag it into here and then jump back across to DaVinci Resolve. Once you've done that, just literally right-click on this main home folder and click Refresh. And once you go back into your menu and the Pocket 3 menu, you'll get all your LUTs pop up. So then you need to locate the DJI Pocket 3 LUT that they've supplied. If you mouse over it, it will show you a preview of what it looks like. And then if you select the node in the middle, that's what we're going to be using on this one, and then right-click on this LUT, apply LUT to current node, it will then apply it to it so you can see that difference. Now, if I go Command D, on and off, that will show you, just go full screen, Command F. So Command D switches that LUT on and off so you can see the conversion LUT now. So already we're getting some nice colors. And you're thinking, well, why wouldn't you shoot a normal color instead of just going through this whole process of having this conversion LUT? Well, you've got more dynamic range if you use D-Log, which I've used to shoot on this. Leaving the LUT switched on and then coming back out of full frame, I then want to just adjust my levels a little bit because it's a little bit hot. So what we do is we select this first node and we'll go through to our primary color wheels. What I want to do is pull the highlights back a little bit. I want to go to the curves, pull that down a little bit. I want to move this, pull this down. So a little bit of curve action there, like so. That looks good to me. And then with my contrast, I want to just do that. And then my shadows, illuminates those shadows a little bit. And we've got our highlights. And I'm happy with the way that looks on node 1. So node 1, we've got our adjustments. On node 2, we've got our LUT. And on node 3, we're going to go to Effects, going to use Dehancer. Now, if you don't know what Dehancer is, then you really need to do some research because it's an incredible film emulation LUT that you should be fully aware of by now. And when you use it with Pocket 3 footage, it just makes it look incredible. And I can't go on about this enough. It's just such a beautiful plugin. It's going to cost you a little bit of money. I do have a 10% discount and I'll put that in the description below, somewhere on the screen now. So that's a 10% discount for all my loyal subscribers and followers. Once you've dragged that Dehancer effect onto this third LUT, you'll then be presented with this list of options and variables. Now, leave it at Brex 709 because you've already converted that middle node with the DJI LUT. Now, my favorite conversion and film emulation is aero color. So if you go to your film emulation list of films that they supply, scroll down to Kodak Aero Color, and it's got a really nice warm feel to it. And it's just something that I really feel it has a real natural look to it. It's quite cinematic. Initially, when you drag in Dehancer, it's going to give you a film grain look. Film grain in Dehancer does take up a lot of resources on your computer, so it's going to slow things down. So you just scroll down and disable that here. So if we just zoom in, I'm using the mouse wheel to zoom in, then holding down the mouse wheel to move around. So if we zoom in a bit more, film grain on, off, you can see the difference. So let's zoom back out so we can see that full frame. Let's press play. So already you can see that it does have a really nice look to it, but we can do a little bit more to it than that. So let's pause it there, go back up to where our film emulation selection plugins are, and we can go through a few of the different films. Now, a couple of my favorite are CineStill, got a nice warm feel to it there, and then CineStill 800T, that looks pretty good. Let's press play, go full screen. So to be honest, I can't believe this footage is shot on such a small camera. I think this footage is absolutely stunning, and to be able to go out and shoot on such a small camera and obtain footage of this quality is quite incredible. And that's what's inspired me to go out and do a lot of these walking tours. So let's hit spacebar, pause that, press escape, come out of full screen. So that is our Dehancer applied to the third node. So if you wanted to have a little bit more of a cinematic look, other than a film look, you could always use a few of these other parameters. Now, obviously film grain is going to give you that film grain look. Bloom is quite interesting. So if we click on bloom, let's go back up here. If we zoom in, and then I'm just going to go Shift F, and if I adjust the bloom, you can see around the highlights, it does give this incredible bloom. But again, be aware that this is going to take up a lot of your resources of your computer, and it's going to really slow things down. So if I press spacebar and play, I'm going to make Studio, so it's actually playing in real time. And also because it's 24p, there's not so many frames it needs to process. But again, it's giving it that really nice sort of soft feel. So if I pause it there, go Command D, you'll see the difference. And that's just switching this node on and off. So let's go Shift F. So if you go Command D, it enables and disables the node you're currently selected on. So press play. So Command D, on and off with bloom. Oh, it's so beautiful. It gives it a really stunning look. And I don't think you can achieve this easily by going in and grading any other way inside DaVinci Resolve. So I hope you found that useful. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.